Aerosol! Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Shero Coffee Chat, where coffee meets conversation. I am your host, Melissa Farmer Hill. I am a retired Army veteran and the founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where our mission is to keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. Thank you for joining us. Yay! On the Shero Coffee Chat today, we'll take a spin around the Shero resource table. We will definitely get to our story and the tip of the week. And we've got all of that and more brewing up right after this. You know what I noticed about that promo commercial? It does not have the 2025 Shero ambassadors in it. I definitely have to make a change and let my Shero ambassadors know that there's nothing but love. How do you do that, Art? There's nothing but love here. But getting back to the show, at Shero Coffee Chat, we know that life is truly a journey. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. And it's not always smooth sailing, and that's why we have to keep our heads on a swivel when it comes to getting the right information for our veterans and their families. There are over 16 million veterans out there, and not one person has all the answers, but collectively, we can definitely do better for one another. And that's why the Shero Resource Table was created. I wanted to share information on resources and programs to the veteran community because if one of us win, we all win. Yeah. And today we are talking about veterans coffee chats. Have you ever been to a veterans coffee chat or a veterans coffee social in your area where you are? They are all the rage in the Chicagoland area, but if you don't know what they are, I want you to check out this video. That video is coming soon. All right, maybe we don't have the video. Do we not have the video? All right. I'm just gonna keep on rolling since I don't see the video. Okay, maybe okay, here we go. Here we go.
Connecting with others plays an important role in overall health, just like getting enough sleep and drinking plenty of water. Over time, not getting the social support you need can make physical and mental health difficulties worse. One of the best ways to connect with people is through common experiences. That might mean bonding over a hobby, a profession, a faith, or another mutual interest. For some veterans, it's hard to find people who share and understand their experiences. They might not like to talk about their military service. Some just don't think others can relate to them. By getting veterans and their supporters together regularly, whether for a chat over coffee, a bowling night, or a volunteer activity, you can build social connections and improve attendees' overall well-being. For more information, including tips for starting a Veterans Coffee Social, download the Quick Start Guide. Developed with input from veterans, the guide helps community leaders and others set up social groups to prevent unhealthy social isolation among veterans, no matter where they are. The Quick Start Guide answers questions such as, how do I find local veterans? When and where should I schedule get-togethers? What should I do to prepare for a social event? To start a Veterans Coffee Social, you don't have to be a veteran. You just have to be flexible and open and have a desire to give back to your community. If you're interested in supporting and connecting with veterans, download the Quick Start Guide from our website and set up a Veterans Coffee Social in your area.
Yes, you guys. Coffee chats. I like to call them coffee chats because it's the Shero Coffee Chat show. But coffee chats are really regularly scheduled, either weekly or monthly informal get-togethers where veterans meet. We socialize, we network. We discuss everything, just like the video said, our military experience, health benefits. I mean, there is no, I mean, even your struggles and different things like that. I don't think there's any stone that can't be unturned in a veterans coffee chat. But I think that one of the real gems here is that you get to stay connected to community. I think that there is true fellowship in a veterans coffee chat, and I want to encourage you all to find one and attend. At the Shero Coffee Club, we provide coffee for a number of coffee chats in the Chicagoland area. So if you feel like you are just in need of bonding with your brothers and sisters in arms, go to a veterans coffee chat. Is definitely the place to be. They have them in person, they have them virtually, and one of the things that I've personally experienced is that they always make you feel welcome, and it's easy to find. You can Google it. Veterans Coffee Chat near me, or Veterans Coffee Socials near me, or if you feel led, like the video said, if you feel led to start a specific type of coffee chat, because they have some for specific things. I know I participate in a lot of women's coffee chats, but they have different areas that you might want to focus on, mental health, addiction. I mean, they have different types of coffee chats. But if you feel compelled or led to start one in your area, make sure you go to va.gov. They've got the complete guide to starting veterans coffee chat. So yeah, so we're gonna dive now into our story of the week, and I'm gonna call this one "Who's Gatekeeping VFW?" And so okay, so I just read an article that was posted on the VFW website. It's still up there now, on how the VFW is partnering with Main Street to provide financial education, to veterans. And at first I was hopeful. I was like, yeah, I'm thinking, finally we got something, for Financial Awareness Month. It's April. Happy Financial Awareness Month. Are you aware of your finances? What's in your wallet? Well, this is the month to find out. But at first I was excited because um, it was financial education specifically tailored to veterans. But after reading it, I was left wondering, what was the point of this article? And not throwing any shade, but when I read it, it was like, what's the point of this article? Because they made claims that they would provide financial education through surveys. They have a curriculum. They have virtual and in-person classes. They have on-demand videos. But then you look at the article, they didn't even provide a link to where veterans could, get the information. They could access the information. They also didn't provide a link if a veteran wanted to know more about the company. They gave no contact information. I didn't even find a date in the article to see when these initiatives, if they haven't started already, but when these initiatives would start. And that's why I'm asking, who's gatekeeping VFW? The article, said a lot and without saying anything. It didn't say nothing. Nothing that could help a veteran who came to the VFW website and was in need for financial education. So, why are we allowing announcements to be placed on the website with no follow through? That's my question. 2025. You know what kind of everybody's looking at their TSPs. Everyone's looking at their 401ks. 2025, we need some help solving real problems. We need some help solving real problems. Veterans have, they want to know where to invest their money. They want to know about investing. They want to know how to pay off their debt. They want to know how to build savings, real estate, you name it. They want to plan for their future now. But the article, it sounds good, but I want to know, will the president, because of the president, I think his name was even mentioned in the article, will the president of Main Street Financial or financial education services deliver? And if so, when? I'm glad I did come across the article, but we need more. So I'm going to be monitoring the website, and I want you to do the same. You to do the same. Well, I ask you to do the same, but you don't have to, because I will definitely, for the month of April, be looking for that initiative from Main Street Financial Solutions, Financial Education Services. So, yeah. And speaking of finances, let's move right into the tip of the week. Now, here is a quick heads up. If you have been using the, what is it, the buy now, pay later plan, what BNPL, buy now, pay later plan, then you need to listen up. Now these buy now, pay later plans are like Affirm and Klarna and Afterpay, those types of things, where you can, I don't have them, so you, but as I understand it, you could have something now, and then you split the payments up in like four, or I don't know, is it four, from what I researched, you can split it up in four payments. You can buy things like clothes, food, Uber Eats. I'm imagining you can buy pretty much anything. Um, and you get to, the beauty of it is you get to pay it off over time. And I know, right, that is super convenient. I mean, that's a great deal, right? And I don't think it's any interest rate. Don't quote me on that. If you know whether these things have interest rates or not, let me know. All right, I mean, but it's super convenient. But here's what's changing. This is good, y'all. I don't usually use sugar. I just use a heavy creamer in my Shero coffee. But today I put a little hazelnut in there, and it's on point. Sometimes you gotta spice it up. But here's what's changing. Affirm is now reporting payment plans to Experian. Now, Experian is one of the three major credit bureaus. We have TransUnion, we have Experian, and we have Equifax. So Experian is one of the major credit bureaus. So that means even if you're paying on time, those loans, because that's what they are, you guys, those are short-term loans, will start to show up on your credit report. Because so right now it won't hurt your credit score yet, and the reason why is because the agencies have not found a way to set a score for these kinds of short-term loans. But it is being reported. It was the rage during the pandemic. It was all the rage during the pandemic. I think that's when they really came on the scene, and people were really heavy into using that buy now and pay later. But what's happening is they're doing what's called stacking. They're loan stacking. So that means you'll have the ones I mentioned. You'll have the Afterpay. You'll have the Klarna. You'll have all of those loans. And now guess what? People are over leveraging themselves, just like credit cards, because it's nothing more than a credit card when you really look at it. I think without the without the interest rate until you miss or make a late payment. Someone fact check me there. Someone correct me, because it all breaks, because everybody's making money. They're not giving you four payments just to give you four payments. They're relying on you to slip up so they can take all your money, because that's what they do. It's a business. It's a business. Nobody's being nice to you. But if you're using it, in a way that makes sense, then I say okay. But the bottom line is this: if you are using it and you're using it responsibly, it's no big deal. No harm, no foul. You get your bill, you make the payments or however they do it. But if you're doing a lot of it, this is the time right now, you guys. This is the time to slow it down. Slow down that buy now, pay later. We're in the month of financial awareness. You need to slow it down. And speaking of financial awareness, this is a great month. It's tax. We're in tax season. We're coming up on the end of tax season. Um, it's a great time for you to look over your finances, to talk to your financial advisor, to set some new goals if you haven't already financially. But April is Financial Awareness Month. And seriously, that buy now and pay later, if you're using it, think about quitting. If you're over leveraged, figure out a way to pay it off, because trust me, it's going to matter 5 years from now or 10 years from now when you're trying to get an apartment or get a loan or, just get some type of credit. It definitely is going to matter. So, yes, yes, yes. Be on the lookout for that buy now and pay later deal, because Experian is onto it, and it's just a matter of time before they figure out how they're going to start using it against you. Using it against you, because these credit card bureaus have to stay relevant. So they have to catch, where can we catch where money is being spent to add to the credit card report, you know? And like I said, it's nothing more than a short-term loan. So yeah. All right, enough of that. We're gonna wrap it up with our last story. So we do not have a guest. I will get a guest. We have a guest coming next week, and we'll just have a whole lineup of guests. I missed that doorbell ring. Can I get a doorbell ring just for the doorbell ring's sake? Ah, we got we got all of that right. So we don't have a guest today, but like I said, we will start back with guests next week. But in a sense, I am especially glad that we don't have a guest, especially this week, because it's hard to put into words this next story. So let's take a look at the video.
4 U.S. Army soldiers based out of Georgia who went missing have died. That's according to a NATO leader. We know this evening the soldiers were participating in a training mission in Lithuania and were involved in some sort of accident. We don't know the details of exactly what happened yet, but NBC reports the missing Americans were riding in their M88 recovery vehicle, which was discovered submerged in a body of water. The soldiers were stationed at Fort Stewart, which is southwest of Savannah.
Yeah, that part. Four soldiers, Dogface Soldiers, Fort Stewart, Dogface Soldiers have left this earth while doing what they were trained to do. They were supporting, protecting, and standing at the ready. Now, you have to remember, because sometimes we get numb to it. Um, every soldier that dies, for that matter, every human that dies, but especially those that are in the headlines, it's not just names in a headline. there were men who wore the uniform. They served with pride and they gave their all. They will be missed by family, friends, loved ones, associations that they had. Um, so Staff Sergeant Nunson Collins, Staff Sergeant Guinness, who was from our great state, Joliet, Illinois, which is about 40 miles outside of Chicago. Staff Sergeant Franco and Specialist Tetano. Every single one of them, they were doing their job on the front lines of readiness. They were mechanics, they were warriors, they were problem solvers, all the things that you expect a soldier to be. And I say soldier, but I mean men and women in uniform who serve. It's just I'm conditioned to say soldier because I served in the Army. And although they weren't in a combat zone, they were still in a danger zone outside the US. And the funny part is that's the thing, most of us kind of know when we sign the contract that the mission of the armed forces, all of the folks who are serving to protect this country, is to deter war or win in battle. Now it's changed over the years. That language has changed over the years, but the bottom line is still to deter war and win in battle. That's what we do. Those who serve. Um, but I don't think that really resonates when you're signing your contract, and I don't even think it really sinks in how real this all is until something like this happens, a tragedy like this happens, or you deploy. You know, I did peacekeeping missions in Kosovo, and I deployed to Iraq. So until you are far from home and the mission gets serious, then you realize that your life is actually on the line. That I think is the time, maybe for many, I won't even say some, I think for many, that you truly understand what the military is for. Um, these four soldiers, they were, in Poland. They were part of our NATO allies, to back them up. Um, they were doing their job, and all of a sudden, tragedy struck, and it was in an instant, and everything changed. Not only for these four men, but the people who were a part of their lives as well. Their vehicle sank into a swamp, and those four lives were lost. You know, there was a posthumous promotion, so I think three of them were promoted posthumously. I believe three of them were promoted posthumously, um, and that is a great recognition. Uh, but it's an honor, but it doesn't erase the pain of what's been lost to the armed forces, what's been lost to their friends and family, what's been lost to their community. uh, each one of these soldiers, they had years of service, they had medals and decorations, and they were committed to the mission, and that's why they were there. you know and to their friends and family and brothers and sisters in uniform, our hearts go out to all of you here from the Shero Coffee Chat. And to these soldiers, the 4 men we lost, we say thank you for your sacrifice, your service, and your strength. I tell you, I've been out of the military for a little while now. But talking about this type of stuff, it doesn't get any easier. Even though I understand the mission is to deter war and fight in battle. If you've worn that uniform, you know that this is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And then, I don't want to, go off, but then I think about it because it just opens the door for me to those men who served in Vietnam and how they were not welcomed back and honored in a way that they should have been. And then I trace back to how far we've come in trying to correct that history. So, to those 4 soldiers, those 4 warriors, those 4 men, thank you for standing watch. Godspeed. And I am going to end it right there, but I do want to talk about maybe some Shero coffee. We have like a few minutes left. Go to sherocoffee.com. Continue to support our women veterans. Continue to support veterans all over if you can. Give what you can give to support those who raised their right hand and said, yes, I will serve and fight for this country, even if it means my life. But on the Shero Coffee Club webpage, you will see stories of women veterans who are expressing and telling you their experience from their standpoint. And especially now, in a time where women's history is being questioned in the military, now more than ever, I'm glad that I have the vision of Shero Coffee Club to continue to celebrate those women veterans. And that's all I wanted to say for today. Go to SheroCoffeeClub.com, Shero Coffee, to get your coffee because it is delicious coffee. It is delicious coffee. Try it out. And I have a new sign off. And I was thinking about it. You want to keep your heart strong. I was thinking of a healthy heart and things like that. So you want to keep your heart strong and you want to keep your coffee Shero. I will see you next week with a guest. Until then, be blessed.